Hello, I'm Gillian King, and in the film, I'm playing Ms. Trampfoot, who is the not very nice head teacher of the school. All the actors and the producers and all the crew were incredibly welcoming, and it was a really fun, diverse young cast, which I always find really energizing and exciting to work with. Well, I'm glad my own children aren't listening. I was probably very good and a bit of a swot up until sort of GCSE time, and then I discovered boys and smoking and the fact that you could leave school in between lessons, and the teachers didn't always do registers or check. So I spent a lot of my, I don't know what it is now, year 10 and 11, if that's GCSE years now, in a church graveyard up the road with quite a few other students being very naughty. I got back on track when they finally said I could go into the sixth form, which was touch and go at one stage. Well, I definitely think I would have argued with the head teacher. I mean, I did with my head teacher because I wasn't really worried by consequences. I didn't really care. And I'm quite a strong believer, I think, in justice and fairness. So probably quite like a few of them, actually, I would have really argued and challenged and been outraged by some of the things that Mr. Trampfoot did. Well, I've been thinking about. I love a heist film. I know it's not a very cool answer, but I quite liked Tower Heist, which has got who's it got in it? It's got Tia Leone in it and Ben Stiller. So it's not, it's a fun film. It's about workers in a hotel who get cheated out of their pension plans by somebody rich staying in the top floor, and how they all come together and defeat the bad guy and do a secret the Workers Unite heist. So that, I think, is a really fun film, and of course I love all the Ocean's 11 stuff. It's got Brad Pitt in it, so George Clooney. What's not to love, really? I went to see Star Wars, which I loved with my whole family. Love those, but I think I remember watching Grease in the 70s, and I thought that was fantastic at the time. I know how dated it is now and everything, but it was so exciting, and I loved it so much that me and my friends formed a Pink Ladies Club. We were only about 9, but it was just amazing. The songs as well, they were number one in, on Top of the Pops that we had then, sort of the only chart show, really. And, they were number one for weeks and weeks and weeks. So everything was about those songs. Well, in lockdown, it's been challenging. I've been really lucky that I've done quite a few Zoom plays, which have been really fun. Playing lots of different types of mum. Actually, I think I've hit the mum bracket, which I don't mind, is absolutely brilliant. And I've been doing lots of corporate theatre, so corporate training where you use drama as a way of bringing about change in different organisations. So I've been doing a lot of that, which I've done for many years, which has been fantastic over lockdown, because it's a way to act and to work with other actors and be creative, whilst at the same time earning money. So that's been really useful when theatres locked down. Lots of lots of projects were cancelled. I'm hoping next year I can direct Midsummer Night's Dream. We were going to do a huge open air production, and with projections and lights, fantastic lighting, and quite filmic. And that got cancelled because it's a lot of money and a big budget, and it was we weren't sure whether we would get that back with all the kind of social distancing and the sudden shutdowns and things like that. So hopefully that will come up. And then, don't know, pretty much like a jobbing actor, theatre director. At the moment, there's nothing immediate on the cards, but I don't worry too much because something will come in and fill that space, I'm pretty sure. So. That's quite tough. I do love Midsummer Night's Dream. I love the potential versatility of that as a Shakespeare, but I really love comedies. I love directing comedies, but I'm also very drawn. I did a production once of Time and the Conways, which is JB Priestley. I've now completely blanked. Maybe you should cut that. I've completely forgotten. But Time and the Conways was a beautiful piece. I loved doing that. It's a very, very poignant piece. Comedies. I quite like new writing as well. I like anything where the audience I love hearing the audience laugh. So that, I think, something like that is what I would go for. JB Priestley, I think I was right. JB Priestley was Time and the Conways. It's a beautiful play. It's hard to do because it's quite a big cast, but that is fun because there's sort of hints of time travel. I like that kind of mystical feel about time travel. And there's also Dear Brutus, I did by J.M. Barrie, which again looks at the sort of question of what if I'd chosen this path, where might I have been, and if I'd chosen that. And if I had the chance to do it all again or have a new look at my life, would I take that doorway? Would I go down that route? Which I think is, I think as you get older, it's quite an interesting question. If I was suddenly found myself back in my 20s, what would I do differently, if anything at all? So I had great comedies, good rolling in the aisles laughter comedies, or something that really makes you think like that. I think I sort of came into the business in the 90s, and I knew it was a hard career to take, but I think that the couple of decades before me that had happened, there'd been a lot of work and people doing a lot of things. So that was still sort of in my sort of experience, or sort of how I was feeling things were going to pan out. And then, of course, in the 90s, there was, a bit of a economic depression, a bit like we had in 2007 and currently in now. So arts really suffered. So, it still is difficult to get projects and the dream jobs. There's, of course, there's a few very famous people and they do fantastically well, and that's brilliant. My aim is always to sort of keep working in this industry, no matter whether I have to work as a teacher or in corporate theatre or lots of different things. So I'm trying to sort of cover as many bases as possible. What I've found is there's possibility of repeat work if you are a nice person and fun to work with, because there are a huge amount of talented people out there. But of course, producers and directors have to work with you and be in a room with you for however long it is. So if you can make working with yourself a happy and good experience, then people will want to re-employ you. So that's one thing I think is important. But also, I think that you can't sit around and wait for people to offer you amazing jobs, or just think, oh, I've got an agent, I'll sit quietly and hope that I can be put up for something. I've got lots of jobs because I've gone out and met people, or offered to do a reading, or like with you guys who are all starting your career, you know, you could go completely stratospheric, and, you know, maybe there's a small part for me, you know, in your first big Hollywood budget. So it's about, I think, creating as much of your work yourself, and doing that because it makes you feel fulfilled, it makes you feel creative, you're practicing your art, and you're getting better and better each time. And the wider you sort of spread your interests and meet as many people as possible, you come across people who just say, oh, would you mind doing this? Or this is coming up, or this possibility, which I would never have heard about if I just sat at home and wait for an agent or somebody to phone me and offer me a job. What I've tried to do, and you know, partly because I don't come from money, so I've always had to earn money, and I'm the breadwinner in our family, so money is something that's always kept me motivated. So I've had to kind of really push and keep making sure that I meet as many people as possible, and and get projects off the ground myself, where I might not have made a lot of money, or might have been really hard, but it's something extra for my CV, or I've learned a new skill, or I've matured in some way. I've hit talent, or as a person, hopefully, that might sort of act as a stepping stone to the next project. That's what I've found to be of use. It is, and I really admire, like the team here, going out and getting work. Excuse me, going out and making your own work. It was a lovely day that I spent with you, and I loved that it was, a very diverse and very interesting cast. I thought that's so much more refreshing and exciting. So I was very happy that I was included in that. So thank you.